between the Google Pixel 8 and the iPhone 15, which is the better option? By the end of this video, you'll know, and the answer might surprise you. All right, first, let's talk about the build and body between these two phones. The iPhone is made out of aluminum, has a ceramic shield, a matte finished back, and weighs 171 grams. Whereas the Google Pixel is also made out of aluminum, has Gorilla Glass, the entire body is scratch and fingerprint resistant, and weighs 187 grams. Now, obviously, both of these phones are great, but they're also different kind of in their own separate ways. The iPhone kind of has this more premium, luxurious feel, right? With the squared off sides, with that matte finished back that gets absolutely no fingerprints. The entire experience of using the iPhone just felt more higher quality than the Google Pixel. The Google Pixel by no means was bad or anything like that, right? It was very comfortable with the rounded sides. The glass back was, well, it was glass, so there was a lot of fingerprints, but it was very comfortable in the hand, you know, where the camera bump is very comfortable on the fingers, but both of them were different. And between the two, I have to say that the iPhone just felt like a more luxurious experience. Now, yes, from a build perspective, both of these phones are extremely strong, right? But I don't think that's really the concern here, right? Especially because you've got Gorilla Glass on the Pixel and you have the ceramic shield on the iPhone. The main thing here is how it feels to use both of the phones in your hands, right? You're obviously going to be holding it and using it all the time, so it needs to feel like a good experience, obviously. And while you'd think that the heavier weight would make it feel, you know, more impactful, make it feel more luxurious in the hand, I actually didn't find that case with the Pixel. Instead, it honestly just felt heavier. Like, no upside, just felt like a heavier phone in my hand, whereas the iPhone was lightweight and very easy to use. You could argue that's subjective, but what's not subjective is the fact that the iPhone with the brushed aluminum sides and that matte finished back, not having any fingerprints, looks amazing. Whereas with the Pixel, I just couldn't say the same thing. But obviously, that's not everything, so now let's talk about the displays. So on the iPhone, you get a 6.1-inch OLED display that goes up to 2000 nits and has a pixels per inch of 460. Whereas the Pixel is slightly bigger at 6.2 inches, also goes up to 2000 nits, but has 120 hertz refresh rate. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if you didn't have both of these phones in your hand, I don't think you'd be able to tell the difference. All right, both of these phones are completely fine for day-to-day use, and you're gonna be completely fine with whatever you're doing. But luckily for you, I do have both of these phones side by side, and there actually is a clear difference between the two. See, the iPhone to me just straight up looked better. Everything looked a little bit clearer, the colors were a little bit better, everything was just all around a little bit nicer. That said, on the Pixel, it is far smoother. That 120 hertz refresh rate definitely goes a long way in making, you know, every animation, making everything on the phone feel super smooth. Now, you might be wondering, why would you want your phone to feel smooth? Like, what advantage does a phone feeling smooth have? Well, it's not the fact that, like, you know, this smooth word that gets thrown around. It's really the illusion of speed that it creates, right? When you open something on the Pixel, because of how smooth, how quickly the pixels are moving and whatnot, it just makes everything feel faster and makes it feel like you're using a lightning fast phone. Even though objectively the iPhone is a faster device, everything still feels a little bit lagged behind when compared to the Pixel. While on the other hand, to me, everything on the iPhone just looked better when it came to colors, when it came to watching videos, all of that sort of stuff just looked a tiny bit better on the iPhone. Now, it could be because it had a wider range of colors, or it could be because, like, you know, it had a higher PPI, but either way, if I had to choose between the two, between having a smooth screen and having a phone screen that just looks good, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna choose the smooth screen. Just something about it just feels, you know, different. That speed feeling that you get on a 120 hertz screen is just something that doesn't compare to, you know, the colors looking a little bit prettier. Having nicer colors is great, but is a marginal difference compared to the phone just straight up feeling faster. So now let's talk about the battery life. On the iPhone, you get up to 20 hours of battery life, while on the Pixel, you get a 24-hour plus battery life and up to 72 hours with extreme battery saving mode. Now, automatically, without even saying anything, just hearing those numbers, you know that the Google Pixel battery life is way better than the iPhone's. But when it comes to the 15, there's actually one more big thing that makes it, you know, that much worse compared to the Google Pixel battery. And that's the fact that this phone has overheating problems. Now, this hasn't happened directly to me. My phone has been completely fine, maybe getting a little bit warmer than usual during certain times, but overall it's been a fine experience. But that's not the case with the majority of people that have been reporting this incident. There's a lot of people talking about how this phone is turning into a toaster and burning their hands. Maybe it's because they don't have as many sales, and, you know, there's this bias because there's less people talking about bigger issues. You know, your regular economic stuff. But either way, the Google Pixel battery has been completely fine, while the iPhone not so much. Even if we put aside the overheating problem, the fact of the matter is that the Google Pixel battery life is still insane compared to the iPhone. I mean, going multiple days, almost up to 3 days when you put on a battery saving mode, that just doesn't compare to up to 20 hours on the iPhone. So yeah, the Google Pixel definitely wins this round. Next are the chips and the speed of these phones. Now on the iPhone, you get the A16 Bionic chip, and on the Google Pixel, you get the Tensor G3 chip. Now I want to preface this by saying that ultimately for whatever you're doing on your phone, even if it's gaming, even if it's doing, your day-to-day tasks, these phones are both probably going to be perfect for whatever you've got going on. But if we're going to look at it from a numbers perspective, the iPhone is actually absurdly faster compared to the absurdly faster. I don't even think that's proper grammar. It's way faster than the Pixel. I'll put up the Geekbench scores right now on screen, but the iPhone is pretty much twice as fast as the Google Pixel. Now again, like I said, you're not going to immediately notice this on your day-to-day use, but for those of you that are maybe taking a lot of calls on your phone, maybe you're doing a lot of FaceTime, well, you wouldn't be doing that on a Pixel. What's the Pixel version of FaceTime? A lot of video calls, gaming especially, you're just going to notice that the iPhone is significantly faster than the Pixel. Now, if you're not doing any of those things and you're just, sending text messages, taking pictures, all that fun stuff, then I think you're going to be fine. But if you're looking at the phone that's actually technically more powerful and more speedy. I was gonna say speedy. Bro, what is my English today? If you're looking for the phone that is more powerful and that is faster, that's gonna be the iPhone. And one more thing on that, the speed and power of a chip isn't just for your immediate use of the phone, right? Obviously it's great for things like gaming and what I just talked about, but another reason that you want a really powerful chip is for future proofing. With how powerful the A16 Bionic chip is, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets support way further down the line by Apple. Whereas with the Tensor chip, I just can't say the same thing. Yes, they're making strides to, match Apple and have that long-term support, but at the end of the day, a weak chip is not going to be able to handle, whatever comes 7, 8, 9 years down the future when we don't even know what type of app requirements there will be. Having a lot of power just inherently future-proofs you for those types of things, and why the iPhone 15 is probably going to last longer than your Pixel. All right, now let's look at arguably one of the most important factors, that's the cameras. Now on the iPhone, you get a 48 megapixel wide, a 12 megapixel ultra, and things like the photonic engine and deep fusion. While on the Google Pixel, you get a 50 megapixel main and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. Now when it comes to photos, it's honestly surprising how much better Google is than Apple in this department. Honestly, the hardware is negligible, right? Both of the cameras are pretty much very similar in how they're built, but I don't know, it's something about the Google software where they've just nailed it with how photos should look. They're much more clear, the colors are more accurate, and everything all around on Google Photos just looks better than anything the iPhone produces. And that's not even mentioning the laundry list of different features that Google puts into their phones natively. Things like astrophotography that they just throw into the phone for your benefit. The most you got on the iPhone is night mode, so there isn't really a lot they bring to the table. Whereas the Google Pixel just throws in all of these new and different features that can really elevate the way that you take photos. And that's not even mentioning all the other software tools that they have, like the Magic Eraser and all of these different things that bring borderline professional Photoshop capabilities onto your phone. Even when it comes to video, I still think that the iPhone, looks and performs better, but the Google Pixel has definitely caught up. It's not that same thing where Android phones look horrible compared to iPhone video. It's pretty close. The iPhone is still better, but it's not as big as a difference as it used to be. So if I had to restart a YouTube channel and make videos with my phone, I definitely choose the iPhone. But for everything else, and for somebody that's looking for a camera that can kind of do everything, I would actually choose the Pixel. But now let's get to the prices. The iPhone starts at $1129, while the Pixel starts at $949. Now I'm not gonna lie, that's a hard bargain, especially since right now it's Black Friday, and even outside of that time, there's always deals going on with the Google Pixels, whereas with the iPhone, that's not really the case. It's kind of just that price, and then that's it. Whereas the Pixels, there's a much better chance of you, waiting, being a little bit patient, and getting it at a major discount. The $180 difference just seems questionable at best. But the main question that I want answered is, what is the value of that $180 difference? Because in the tech space, that could be a lot of things. That could be wireless noise canceling earbuds. That could be a bunch of different peripherals. There's so many different things where you could put that money that otherwise would have been spent on getting the more expensive iPhone that you could put towards those other tech devices. And again, that is not even incorporating the fact that regularly the Google Pixel goes on sale. So I guess it comes down to you. Is that $180 difference worth it to you? For me, despite how much I love the Google Pixel, I love the camera, I love the battery life, it doesn't change the fact that for $180, I think get things like AirDrop, get things like iMessage, get things like FaceTime. It's very hard to put a price tag on those things. But for me, the $180 just doesn't push me over the edge. But for some of you that are looking at it from more of a technical perspective, that want that better camera, that want the better display, that $180 could be worth it. Bottom line is both of these are great phones and obviously depend on which suits your needs best. But what I can say is no matter which one you get, you won't be disappointed. Now don't disappoint me by hitting that subscribe button.